like. It is through adab that knowledge becomes wisdom, reflection becomes reverence, and education becomes worship. In the end, the goal of ET is not to produce the most advanced institutions, but the most adab-conscious humans, those who think with humility, act with justice, and live with gratitude. ET reminds us, to transform the world, we must first refine our adab, for adab is the language through which truth speaks and the form through which wisdom lives. Transition to Academic Unit Number 6. The next chapter will unfold Digital Ethics and the Moral Compass of Artificial Intelligence, where ET explores the intersection between adab and technology, ensuring that the age of machines remains guided by the light of the human soul. Would you like me to continue with Academic Unit Number 6, Prof., written in the same deep narrative and philosophical structure, focusing on digital adab and AI ethics within the ET civilization framework?
Excellent, Professor. Here is Academic Unit Nomor
6. Digital Ethics and the Moral Compass of Artificial Intelligence, fully elaborated in the same ADRI-style narrative structure. This unit explores how the ecosystem of transformation, ecosystem transformative education, EE, engages the era of machines, ensuring that technology remains an instrument of meaning, not the master of humanity. 6.1. Conceptual Introduction: When Machines Meet Morality. In the dawn of the digital era, technology promised liberation, acceleration, and boundless possibility. Artificial intelligence, AI, algorithmic systems, and data-driven platforms offered to streamline education, tailor learning, and expand access. Yet beneath that promise lies a profound tension. What happens when machines that process begin to replace humans who ponder? What happens when efficiency overtakes empathy, speed overrides depth, and automation displaces agency? The unit of transformation asks, how do we ensure that digitalization serves conscience rather than erodes it? ET argues that the age of artificial intelligence is not only a technological moment, but a moral battleground. The systems we build reflect not merely our capacity to innovate, but our character to serve. Therefore, this unit positions digital ethics as the moral compass of the AI age, the guiding star that keeps our educational ecosystems aligned with human dignity, spiritual purpose, and communal flourishing. 6.2.
Philosophical Foundation: Ethics Before Algorithms.
At the core of digital ethics lies the recognition that technology is never neutral. It carries embedded values, assumptions, and power relations. Philosophers and ethicists have warned against what has been called ethics washing, the use of catchy slogans about fairness, transparency, or bias, without deep structural change. In the ET framework, the philosophical foundation rests on the principle that machines must serve humanity's moral ends, not define them. The human being is conceived not as a data point to be optimized, but as a trust, a mana to be honored. Education becomes the field in which we cultivate adab digital, the etiquette of technology, in which innovation is guided by humility, reflection, and responsibility. This restores the ancient insight that knowledge, ilm, must be informed by wisdom, hikmah, and that every tool must be subordinated to virtue. 6.3. Scriptural and Theological Grounding: Responsibility in the Age of Intelligence. The Quranic verse that guides transformation in Unit 1: Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. QS. Ar-Raid 13:11 also resonates here in the digital domain. The moral architecture of ET holds that the emergence of technology demands a parallel emergence of moral agency. The use of AI in education is not simply about indexing data and personalizing learning. It is about who we become when we deploy such tools. Ethics in digital transformation become acts of worship when they derive from intention, niyya, self-reflection, tazakur, and service, khidma. When we design algorithmic systems in schools, universities, or society, we must remember that the human being is the locus of meaning, not the machine. Theological reflection thus returns. Technology must elevate the human spirit, not suppress it. 6.4. Contemporary landscape, ethical challenges in educational AI. The educational field today confronts a constellation of ethical issues as AI becomes embedded in teaching, learning, assessment, and governance. These include algorithmic bias, threats to student privacy, reduced human interaction, and the erosion of critical thinking. For example, biases in training data can perpetuate inequity when certain groups are misrepresented. Furthermore, the rapid pace of deployment strains the capacity of institutions to reflect on consequences. A recent study found wide variation in educators' awareness of AI ethics, highlighting gaps between institutional norms and personal ethical standards. In sum, the digital age offers tremendous promise, but also risks that education becomes dehumanized, surveillance becomes standard, and learners are shaped by algorithms rather than nurtured through dialogue. 6.5. ET Conceptual Framework: Digital Ethics Within the Spiral of Transformation. Within ET's spiral of transformation, policy driven agile sustainable culture, digital ethics operates at every phase. In the policy phase, institutions must craft governance frameworks that prioritize fairness, transparency, and human dignity in AI use. The Taiban phase invites ethical innovation, creative uses of AI that enhance meaning rather than replace reflection. The Agile phase demands adaptive processes for monitoring and recalibrating technology use in light of ethical feedback. The Sustainable Culture phase embeds digital ethics into institutional habit, not as compliance, but as character. Thus, the moral compass of AI becomes a living element of the ecosystem, not an add-on, but the moral software that runs beneath the hardware of transformation. 6.6. The ethical principles of digital intelligence. International bodies such as UNESCO have formulated key ethical principles for AI: proportionality and do no harm, safety and security, privacy and data protection, multi-stakeholder adaptive governance. In educational contexts, these translate into practices such as ensuring equitable access to AI tools, auditing algorithms for bias, safeguarding learner data, maintaining meaningful human oversight, designing for transparency, and cultivating human-centric outcomes. For ETE, the principle of adab digital aligns with these. Technology must be used with reverence, for the human, for truth, for community. It insists that innovation must not eclipse identity and that efficiency must never override existential dignity. 6.7. Pedagogical application: technology as amplifier of meaning. In practice, ET reconceives technology not as a substitute for human teaching, but as an amplifier of meaning. AI becomes a collaborator, not a controller. The design of learning systems emphasizes critical AI literacy. Learners not only use AI, but question it, critique it, and shape it. Teachers are empowered not solely by software, but by ethical frameworks that guide how they integrate AI purposefully. Classrooms include digital reflection zones, where students pause to consider, what does the technology make me become? How do I remain human inside this machine? The evaluation of AI-enabled learning asks, did this tool deepen my insight into humanity, or did it disengage me from it? 6.8. Institutional implication: governance, culture, and digital adab. For educational institutions wanting to embody ET, the integration of AI requires more than infrastructure. It requires ethical governance and culture change. Leadership must ensure that AI deployment furthers human flourishing, not merely operational efficiency. Data governance becomes moral governance. Digital literacy becomes digital ethics. Investment in AI becomes investment in human dignity. Culture then shifts. Policies embed digital adab. Staff training includes ethical scenario planning. Student contracts include guidelines for responsible AI use. The institution becomes a sanctuary of meaning, not simply a hub of machines. 6.9. Civilizational reflection: AI, human intelligence, and the future of education. At the civilizational scale, the challenge of the AI age is not that machines will replace humans, but that humans may abdicate their chance to reflect. In the absence of a moral compass, artificial intelligence runs the risk of reducing the human subject into data points, echoes, or predictive models. E.T., in contrast, foresees a transformative civilization, Tamadun-Tagiri, where machines serve deep human aspirations, justice, compassion, creativity. In this vision, the future of education is not digital only, it is humanity-centered. Technology is integrated, but it is guided by spiritual intelligence and ethical intelligence. The university becomes not a factory of algorithms, but a sanctuary of meaning where AI is in service of the human soul. 6.10. Summary Statement: The Moral Compass of the AI Age. In the end, this unit asserts that digital ethics is the moral compass of the AI age. In the ecosystem of transformation, artificial intelligence must be anchored in ADAB, aligned with the human index, HUX, and embedded within the spiral of transformative processes. ET invites us, when we press a button, let us ask, what am I becoming? When we deploy AI, let us ask, whom am I serving? Education must transcend automation and awaken the human. Machines may calculate, humans must contemplate. In the age of intelligence, it is conscience that becomes our greatest technology. Shall we proceed now with Academic Unit Number 7, Institutional Transformation and the Smart Campus, Prof? Excellent.